are now recording, Madam Chair.
Good evening. My name is Diane Gary, and this is the Finger Lakes Regional EMS Council's meeting for July 27th, 2020. And I welcome you all here. Could we have a roll call for the members present, please, Jason?
Diane Gary.
Here.
Myself. I am here. Everett Ferguson.
Here.
Bill Little.
Here.
Jackie DeShaw. Jackie DeShaw.
Her mic isn't working.
She's here. I see her.
Here, I see her. All right. Patty Pearson.
Here.
Mike Moss.
Here.
Matt Spruill.
Here.
Terry Phillips.
Yep.
Jeremy Harris.
Present.
Mary Kelly.
Here.
Miles Pearson.
Yes, here.
David Hubble.
Here.
Gloria Lance Taylor.
Here.
Fiona.
Here.
Brian Mace.
Here.
Tyler Harris.
Here.
All right.
Thank you. We do have a quorum.
I think it's just 18 present.
18. We still have our quorum then.
We do.
Okay, moving right along. Into the minutes from last month was not given.
Madam
Mainly
Chair,
for
Aaron Reese will be joining you momentarily as well.
Okay, thank you. I think
Can you-
Cheryl Bailey will be joining in lately in a few minutes also.
Okay.
Can you hear me now, Diane?
Yes, I
There you go.
can. Thank you.
Okay. Had to have the kid to help me.
And let the record reflect that Aaron Reese is now present.
Okay.
Sorry, I was a little late. That's me.
No worries.
All right, thanks for joining. Going into the committee reports, Secretary, do you have any reports you'd like to give us?
I do not at the present time.
Thank you. Moving along into Treasurer. I don't think he's present tonight, is he? Is Matt here?
Yeah.
That's fine.
Matt's here?
I don't have anything.
Thank you. Moving right along
He's in
into
the garage too.
moving right along into training and ed.
Training and ed, Bill, go ahead, and then I got a couple things to add.
Okay, the only things I had were that spring classes were finally able to complete. Summer classes were canceled due to lack of registrations. Fall classes are being planned. I think Donna has a list that we can announce later on. We are encouraging every agency to poll their members to see if they have numbers of classes to perhaps bolster our registrations. We know it's going to be a problem simply because the state has extended certifications, and that's going to impact our enrollments. And then also coming up later will be a seconded motion, I think, from executive to approve the upfront charging for classes beginning 1 January 2021. I think that's all I have. Did I forget anything?
No, it sounds good. Thank you, Bill.
Sure.
Sandy Johnson's here now.
Yes, I do have Sandy. Thank you.
And coming into executive, we've met several times. Again, working on the FOIL request, working on charging, discussion on that. Other things that will be brought up during the committees. So that's about all I have for the executive report. Does any other member of the executive have anything to say at this time? If not, moving right along into public relations. Anything? Hi, Mickey.
Hello.
Nothing for public relations. Coming into REMAC. Anybody for REMAC?
I'll take it. REMAC was held last week. All the usual folks were in attendance. The attendance on the side of the docks was a little light. There was no keyway meeting due to, thankfully, there not being any quality assurance issues that needed to be brought to the committee. There was some discussion on medication shortages, some other issues at hand with that. ALS committee gave a report on a draft regional clearance guideline, no longer a regional clearance document, but a regional clearance guideline that's being worked through, as well as some discussion about some RSI reciprocity for some providers from other regions. Talked about with the ALS committee working on a IV nitroglycerin protocol, and we're working on a intramuscular terbutaline protocol as well. More to come on those. Those are all projects in the works. And that's all I've got. If nobody else has anything that they remember, that's all I've got on off the top of my head.
Yeah, the only additional thing, Jason, transition from SCT medics to get them up to speed with the RSI.
Ah, yes, SCT protocols. Absolutely. Yep. Those are also discussed. Thanks, John.
Speaking of the SCT protocols, Matt, did you get my email the other day?
The one right before the meeting.
Oh, come on. It was a good 48 hours before the meeting.
Oh, yeah. I was gonna, in talking to John, all the comments that were rolled in, we were just going to actually just edit all those, just like everybody made suggestions, and roll it out.
Okay.
And then REMAC kind of went in a different direction.
Yeah, Matt, right after REMAC, Dr. Galton actually sent us a couple of pages worth of comments, so I will pass those along to you guys.
Couple pages, huh? Oh boy.
Well, I mean, they weren't bad, just suggestions and some verbiage changes and that kind of stuff.
I guess I'm just not sure on what direction they were really looking for now, because I think everybody looking at their comments back to what we created was all on the same page that I was, or I was on the same page as everybody, and then the doctors or whatever seemed to have been on a completely different page. I guess that's what I took away from it. I'm not sure, honestly.
It seems more like they wanted a guideline for staffing levels and equipment versus actual clinical protocols. But what they initially had asked for was a set of clinical protocols.
I was under the preview that, obviously with NES, anybody who does SCTs know, a lot of times you're talking to the interfacility doctors on the treatment plan and what's rolling, what's not rolling. I was under the preview that we were doing some guidelines in case suddenly there is no radio contact, there is no cell phone contact, the doc in the box isn't available that we always think is available, that they at least have something to let me bring up on my phone or from my head and kind of follow that way. When somebody says, why did you do this? They can point to why they did it. So I don't know what you want me to do now.
Matt, I would say continue with the process in which we're going. That kind of went off at a different angle after Dr. Surratt just limited his opinions. So I would say let's continue on with creating the draft document, and if they want to make some supplements, then we can do that.
I really think at the end of the day, we should have a guideline and a clinical protocol. Or standard clinical protocol, both.
I'm okay with that. I mean, when it comes to, I don't know about the other counties, but I know at least Ontario County, Finger Lakes and Canandaigua that does the SCTs in Ontario County. I think that's the safest way to say. Sometimes Medic 55, I think, does some. We're all on the same page of how people become SCT providers and how to keep their education up. I guess it's just confusing for me as part of anything when there's some groups who aren't doing SCTs trying to dictate how they should be. I don't know if that makes sense. There's no nice way of saying it, I guess.
I agree with that, Matt. And honestly, I mean, if these docs give us a task and then completely change it, maybe they should be a little more involved in the process. As for Medic 55 doing SCT stuff, right now we don't have anything like formally started or anything. The only time we do anything involving SCT stuff, there's a nurse coming with still. So.
All right, so I guess we'll just keep on the same. I'll make those additions and at least have that with everybody's suggestions put into the next draft, and then we'll keep pushing for that draft and go from there, I guess.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah, I thought everybody's comments were actually fantastic. You know, Jeremy's comments, Bordeaux sent me some comments. Doug Tatlock sent me some comments. They were all really good ones.
Matt, did you get what I sent?
I got a lot of emails from you, Don. I'm not exactly sure.
Well, look. If you don't-
Yes. Was it the one with the critical care one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the next time advanced practice or however, we just need to add that in there for now. I think it was an oversight, honestly.
The other part was down at the very bottom where I asked if there was anything, if it had to do with medical, because if somebody were out or down 4 times, it says they're automatically dismissed from the briefing. And that's really not fair to someone who has a true medical that could be out 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, I think honestly that one we need to maybe look right back into it during advanced practice, because that one I think we need some input from honestly a lot of the higher uppers from different agencies, because I mean when you start getting into that, you're truly messing around with people's well, you're dealing with their jobs, which is their life, you know, their money and everything else. I mean, you can run into some big issues.
That was the only 2 I saw really quick, so.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I think it gets kind of sticky when we start interpreting what companies are going to do for human resource.
Yeah.
Bringing people. So I don't disagree. I'm not always the best talker, so I'm glad I'm being recorded on Zoom. There's got to be a nice way of putting it. I think we get a little bit too EMS is in my opinion. See, now you got me going, Donna. People are running out of EMS like it's on fire, and we're doing such a great job. We're doing a great job on being a dictatorship.
Well, and that's why when I did that, you know, I talked to John about it first and then sent it to Jack and everybody else as well. I just think that sometimes I understand there can be exceptions, but what I don't want there to be is exactly like a dictatorship. No, this is your 4th time, you're done, goodbye.
No, there's no reason in today's world we can't just do an electronic update. They just go on, do, and then they have a certificate that they did an update.
Can I try? Yeah, can I try to bring this back to going down the rest of our reports now?
Sure.
Thank you.
Yep.
How about state EMS? I know you haven't met Jason, but what's going on?
We are actually meeting in a couple of weeks, God willing. We are going to be meeting on the 12th and 13th via probably WebEx. All the committee meetings will be on the 12th, and on the 13th, CMAC will be in the morning, SEMSCO will be in the afternoon.
Jason,
So I'll be virtual.
Jason, one piece of that I find interesting is the governor's executive order for being able to hold meetings electronically expires on August 5th.
We'll let you another one on August 4th.
So moving right along. Anything else for state? Nothing? Going into legislative review, I don't think we have anything yet at this time. So how about program agency? John?
Well, I mean, we're back in the office now, so we're slowly starting to get things back in order. Recently, we were working with the Bureau staff and the folks from Western Wayne, which will come up later, to make sure that their paperwork and their packet was in order. And that'll come up later for potential vote in favor. And other than that, we're starting to think of our conference. God, you know, we have to probably have a committee meeting here sometime soon, just so we can try to come up with some alternative ways that we might be able to in the event nothing happening in person. We may not be able to hold at the Hobart College. We don't, but they're going to be our typical rooms into classroom to comply with the social distancing requirements. So that'll throw a wrench into things. Aside from that, we're continuing to work with the Bureau of EMS with the NAC project that I've talked about in the past, doing all the data entry for the charts. We're still participating in all the conference calls with the Bureau staff and some of our county agencies on a regular basis. And that's it for right now.
Thank you. Any questions for John? If not, Donna, going right to you, FLCC Director's Report.
Well, we have, this coming weekend, we have a practical for Terry's class that finally is going to be able to finish. It was supposed to finish in July, and again, it got cut short, but we scrambled through, got the kids done, and they're taking a practical this weekend, which will be good. I've sent out to the Hobart crew that did not return in March. There are actually some local ones as well, but there are a total of 18 students to come back. Hobart's letting them come back early. We're going to resume that Sunday, Wednesday schedule for 3 weeks, almost 4 weeks, hot and heavy, starting the 16th of August, so that they can hopefully take their exam in late September, early October, to get their EMS crew online, which would be good. And that would finish all of the spring classes that we have been working with all summer to get those done. The proposed classes for fall right now is a basic EMT core, not basic EMT, original and refresher at the Cheshire Firehouse. We wouldn't have one here in the fall as well. That want to go into the paramedic program in January. We would have something in Wayne County, and then we're also going to have basic EMT refresher core with a CFR refresher core all together in Phelps to combine, hopefully to get enough students to fill one of those classes, because we do have some folks that their cards could be expiring the end of December, because when they applied back to the state to get their cards back, they were only issued through 12/31 of 2020. So I hope the agencies all realize that and check their dates for their kids and everything in that. But we're going to put them out and we'll see what happens and go from there as far as the classes. Then the next thing I got to talk about is the cost analysis. You want to go into that, or you want to wait till new business?
Why don't we do it in new business?
So the paramedic students are coming back then as well. We start back on the 14th of, 14th of August. They're coming back. They have to do some skill stuff before they can enter their next phase of ride time. So by Labor Day, they should be all entering into their phase 3, whatever, phase 2, whatever phase it is for ride time. John and I have been looking for PPE and that to have on hand for them. So we are researching a couple of places. I ordered masks today. The shields I ordered, I'm going to have the instructors use the shields. I think that'll be easier for them and easier for the students to understand them than the instructor standing up front with a mask on, and it's just hard to hear them. Everything here on the campus has been cut to 50% as far as occupancy. So the 2 big rooms that we had would seat 36 people. We now can put no more than 18 in each one of them. So Jake will have one, and then we're going to do that same room on Mondays. We'll use the other room on Mondays and Thursdays, the other big room, so we can't get more students in that as well. So The other issue John and I are working on is the possibility of we're going to offer September and November REMAC and full council, because the conference room here, obviously with a 50% capacity, will not hold us either way. We checked with the Rensselaer County Safety Building, and Debbie said that's probably not going to work for us, because even though room 2 and 3 will be open, they're not going to allow more than 25 people in 6 feet. And then we checked with the college to see if we can use Hobart, to see if we can use the Vanderbilt room that we use for the conference. And as John said, they're going to convert that to classrooms at least during the week. So that's going to be out of order for us. So we're still looking. If anybody has any suggestions, you would let John or I know, would be appreciated. Again, if it stays executive order and that we're on Zoom, that's okay. But if it doesn't and that goes away, then we've got to find some place that we can get all of our little butts into. And that's it for me.
Okay, thank you. Nominating committee, we are short one member with Ed Wedge retiring from council. And if anybody would like to volunteer, we would love to have you come on board. So just shoot me your name. We usually have 4 people on it. So email me or text me. Anything else for the committees? Going right into unfinished business. Donna, do you want to do the cost of classes?
Sure. So John and I did some research through the program agencies, which was some help and not some help, which is not their fault, because a lot of them just do the specialty courses like instructor and stuff like that. But we got a couple of them back. Several of them that I have talked to individuals assess the cost to the student up front of what the state reimbursement would be. They didn't charge more than the state reimbursement, except for the fact that it's a reimbursement rate plus the practical exam. Okay. Okay. So like
We're getting an awful echo.
We good?
Better.
So like the basic EMT, I'll use that as an example, original. The reimbursement rate is $700 and the practical exam rate is $75. So that would be $775, which is basically what we've been charging students all along, is that amount if they come in and they don't belong to an agency and they don't go through the college and get financial aid in that. And I have the course reimbursement rates right here as of August 8th of 2019. The state updated them. Didn't give us any more money, but they updated them because they had the AEMT in and the CFR core. So many of them just charge that, but they charge it to everyone, irregardless of if they finish or whatever. And then at the end, if they pass, the agency or whatever can get the state reimbursement rate back, not the practical exam rate back, but just the reimbursement rate. Some of them charge a little bit more. The AEMT one, we charged last year's class $1,000 up front. That seemed to be sufficient for what we were doing. That seems to be the going rate, I say, for Syracuse and Southern Tier right now when they're doing them. Up north, they charge $1,200 for theirs up in the North Country. But I would say stick with $1,000 and go from there, plus the books in that. So I guess my recommendation right now would be is that we charge everybody the state reimbursement rate plus the practical skills rate up front. Unless they're college and they're going through the college to get their financial aid. We'll know that because we can look that up. And let's see how that goes, because the bulk of what we've been losing all along has been those folks that have walked away and the agencies have not signed for them to cover the cost, or the ones that just did not pass. And we are finding more and more of them struggle to pass the written exam.
So do we have a motion to accept this?
I'll make a motion to accept it.
I would move that we accept the rates as outlined by Donna, the state reimbursement rate, trust practical, and what was it, 1,000 for the AEMT?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 We do a roll call vote.
I don't think you need for that, but I will do a second letter to the agencies because the first one I put out so I told them that after today's date, we publish the rates.
Okay.
And this is effective January 1 of 2021. This does not affect this fall. That's why I'm pushing for them. Look at your kids and get them in this fall.
Right.
Are we all good with that?
Sounds good.
Yep.
That was seconded by Jackie, correct?
Correct.
Thank you.
Bill and Jackie.
You're welcome.
Got it. Just playing catch up. Thank you.
Anybody have any questions? Everett, any questions?
No questions.
I am a little concerned about the amount of time that it's taking for the state to send the emails out to the students telling them where their locations are that they can go and take their written exam. I mean, my class did their practical back at the end of June.
Yep,
And
Gloria,
they're still waiting.
I can answer that because I was on with the state today. Because part of the class that had the Hobart kids tested the Sunday after neither your class nor their class is heard. So I contacted them today and I called PSI myself and their whole thing was, well, nothing's been submitted. And I'm like, really? So I emailed Gene Taylor and John McMillan and asked about it. And now apparently Liz Donnelly is in charge of all of that. But Gene went on to tell me that two of the classes were submitted on the 22nd of July. I said, but what about the other two? And she was looking for the other two when we ended the conversation today. So hopefully I will know tomorrow. So yes, that's the biggest thing. When they tell us on the WebEx every other week or whatever from the sponsorships that things are moving along fairly good. I have yet to have any class that has gone through that I've not had to call for.
Well, I also bring this up because you mentioned the fact that one of the big ways we lose money is by those that don't pass the written.
Correct.
Well, the more time that goes by that lapses between finishing the class and taking the written, I think you're going to see an increase in the number of students that don't pass.
Oh, I agree. And the state has done a little bit of a change, which initially when I started telling the students was one way, and then I had to go back and correct that because they are saying the third Thursday of the month, which would have been the old test date, they collect everything for the month before that. That's why the practical always has to be the first Saturday of the month, because then they want 10 days to get that ready before that third Thursday. They don't submit anything to the state or to PSI until the following Monday after that third Thursday. So when your kids tested the end of June and I sent the stuff in on the 29th of June, they didn't do anything with that until the 21st of July. They just let it sit there. So when the kids are calling asking me, how come I haven't given notified of anything? I'm like, well, let me check. Now they've gone back to it, rather than sending it every week to PSI, only sending it after the third Thursday. Make sense?
No, but we have to live with it.
So, no, it doesn't make sense. That way, but I mean, that's the way I explained it. Does it make sense? And that's the problem.
Yes, your explanation makes sense. The reason makes no sense.
So that's just like this class that we're going to finish up this weekend. I will send something on the 4th of August, but they won't release anything until after the 21st to the students for them to be able to test. And I agree, that's the whole thing on, they forget because some of them are, some of them are 5 or 6 weeks from ever seeing anybody.
Well, it'll be interesting to see the numbers after a few of these writtens have taken place to see how much of an increase there is in the failure rate.
I agree. The other thing, Gloria, for you, I don't know if you hear anything or if you guys have heard anything in your end of it. Terry had some AEMT kids that tested the end of May and passed and got their 60-day notice that they were good. Their things that their cards that they passed were good for 60 days. Those 60 days expired this week, and they called me today and they're like, where's the cards or whatever? And I'm like, beats the hell out of me, I want to say. But the other issue is we asked the state to check because they told us that they were starting to print cards sporadically for the new students, not anybody that was a refresher, but for a new student. So I thought maybe the AEMT kids might have gotten theirs by now, but they have not. So tell any of them on that health commerce that it should be updated there, but I can't promise that.
Okay,
All right.
thank you.
Anything else for unfinished business? I notice we have some more people on. Daryl is here. Who else did I see?
Kevin Becker.
Kevin, yes. And we have another person on our nominating committee. Kevin Becker texted me and he'd like to be on the committee. Anything else for unfinished business? Moving along into new business. John, the CON?
Yep. So as was mentioned at the last meeting, our CON committee has reviewed a packet submitted by the Western Wayne Ambulance Incorporated, in which they're looking to transfer the CON from the Union Hill ambulance and the Marion ambulance to become one big group, titled Western Wayne Ambulance. The packet was submitted to the Bureau of EMS, and we received a letter towards the end of last week, that after the Bureau's review of the packet, they've determined it to show fitness and competency for the Western Wayne Ambulance Incorporated. Based on the department's investigation review, it appears that no bar, or not to bar the individuals from being fit and competent under Article 30, Section 3005, Part 8 of the New York State Public Health Law. The determination is based on the information provided to the department and contained in public record. So that was the Bureau has determined them to be fit and competent to be able to move forward with their CON process. So I present to you guys tonight, and it needs to be handled in two separate motions. If you agree with the transfer of the CON of the Union Hill, I have specific wording that the motion needs to be placed under, but I'm not a council person, so I'll let somebody make the motion and then I can provide the wording for the motion.
I move that we accept or approve the Union Hill transfer to Western Wayne.
Okay.
Second.
Jason.
Roll call vote with the CON.
Yep. So the wording should reflect in the motion that based on the fitness and competency of the Western Wayne to receive the portion of the operating authority specified as the territory within Wayne County, which lies within the geography for which our regional council has jurisdiction.
Excellent. If you could email that verbiage to me, I will include it in the minutes before they're submitted.
Okay.
Thank you.
Who did the second?
So we have a motion on the floor for the Union Hill CON. It's a roll call vote. Mr. Secretary, whenever you're ready.
All right, so we're doing the Union Hill. To clarify, this is a vote on Union Hills area in the Finger Lakes region being transferred to Western Wayne EMS. Diane Gary.
Yes.
Myself, yes. Bill Little.
Yes.
Everett Ferguson.
Yes.
168.
Jackie DeShaw.
Yes.
Patty Simon. Patty Pearson Simon. Right?
Yes.
Mike Moss.
Yes.
Ryan Okay.
Yes.
Matt Sproul.
Yes.
Terry Phillips.
Yes.
Jeremy Harris.
Yes.
Nikki Kelly.
Yes.
Miles Pearson.
Yes.
David Hubble.
Yes.
Gloria Lansdale.
Yes.
Fiona.
Yes.
Brian Mace.
Yes.
Tyler Harris.
Yes.
Aaron Reese.
Yes.
Sandy Johnson. Got on mute, Sandy. Can't hear you.
Jason, you should be able to manually unmute her.
Okay. That's not working out real well. Just give me a thumbs up, Sandy, if you say yes.
Get unmute.
There we go. Unmute works. You unmuted, Sandy.
I got it.
Sandy, what's your vote on this?
My vote is yes.
All right, thank you. Kevin Becker?
Yes.
Awesome. And Daryl Bailey? Daryl Bailey? Got on
Daryl's
mute.
on mute. Can you unmute him?
He is unmuted.
Wrote yes in the chat. I don't know if he's got a mic issue.
Yeah.
All right. I'll count Daryl as a yes. The CON transfer motion from Union Hill to Western Wayne passes unanimously with all in attendance.
Thank you. John?
So then now we have to, motion needs to be Kevin, you got a lot of background noise. So we need a motion to for the Marion ambulance to transfer their CON to Western Wayne.
The Little Wayne County, I move that we approve the transfer of Marion Volunteer Ambulance to Western Wayne.
Second that.
Miles Persing, Summit County, second it.
All right. Any discussion? I'm sorry.
Who seconded that one?
I gave it to Miles Pearson.
Is there any discussion on this? If not, going into the roll call vote, please, Mr. Secretary.
Okay, Diane Gary.
Yes.
Oh, yes. Everett Ferguson.
Yes.
Bill Little.
Yes.
Jackie DeShaw.
Yes.
Patty Pearson.
Yes.
Mike Moss.
Yes.
Brian Okay.
Yes.
Matt Sproul.
Yes.
Terry Phillips.
Yes.
Jeremy Harris.
Yes.
Nikki Kelly.
Yes.
Miles Pearson.
Yes.
David Hubble.
Yes.
Gloria Lansdale.
Yes.
Fiona.
Yes.
Brian Mace.
Yes.
Tyler Harris.
Yes.
Aaron Reese.
Yes.
Sandy Johnson.
Yes.
Kevin Becker.
Yes.
Daryl Bailey.
Did we hear from Daryl?
Nothing yet. Daryl? It's for you. Daryl, if you're having issues with audio, if you just want to put a yes or no in the chat box, we'll take your vote that way.
Yes. Yes, in chat.
Okay. All right.
Thank you. Is there anything else for new business? And congratulations to Western Wayne.
Thank you to their folks that are in attendance tonight. We appreciate you being here.
Anything else for new business?
Diane, Diana's got something.
Yes.
Your nominating committee better get started because you got elections next month. Don't forget, or in September.
Right.
And there's 4 open positions currently. 5 actually.
Yes.
No, not for elections. 5 open positions on the council right now.
Did we have anybody?
So if you want to, any position, president, vice president, secretary, treasurer, nominating any of these committees, we would love to have you.
Dan, you're running unopposed for chair again, correct?
Moving right along. Any other new business?
Jason, I second that nomination.
Moving right along. Is there
All
any?
in favor?
Excuse me. Is there any other unfinished business? Moving right along into correspondence. Anybody have any correspondence?
Got any bad boys you got to read?
Oh, that's right. We have bad boys. And it's a good list this year. We have a good one. It is a Robert Hayden Pasquale out of Bronx, New York, EMT number 393215. Suspended for 1 year, effective 3/24/20, and has a penalty. On 3/6/20, his card was revoked. A David Torres out of Brooklyn. His EMT number 340452. And from March 31st, 2019 to March 31st, 2020, Christopher Chung from St. Albans, New York, EMT number 382404, unable to practice. Thomas Dean, EMT number 485076, from Saratoga Springs, is assessed a civil penalty because of an investigation done on him. Jamie Whitting from Rochester, New York, 55908, has had his card revoked 6/16/20. And the last one is Thomas Dean. Oh, I did Thomas Dean again. He was the busy boy. Yep. So that's all I have for the bad person list, not just bad boy, bad person. I'm going to be politically correct here. Do I have any other business for the council?
Motion to adjourn.
Second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I oppose.
Have a wonderful rest of the summer. Remember, September is a 2 meeting, so try not to miss it. And we'll get hopefully we'll have a place to go to then. Take care. See you soon.
Be safe, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Have a good one.
Bye.
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 Out of it.
John, if you email that verbiage over to me in the next minute or two, I can have a copy of minutes completed. Either that or if you just want to take a picture and text it to me or whatever. I see it's on a written piece of paper.
Jason, I've got to have, I just need the roll call and everybody voted yes, because I have to do a letter. What if we do a letter to the state tomorrow telling them that it was accepted tonight?
Okay. I can get all that over to you probably in the next 10 minutes.
Ethan, you got a text picture coming?
Okay. Awesome. I will get that uploaded and I will send over the spreadsheet for roll call votes and the minutes. We could get that off to the state and get everything finalized for Western Wayne.
And they're off our back.
Perfect. Should have it, Jason.
All right. Thank you. Hold on.
And then if you, when you get the opportunity, the REMAC video and then obviously this video, and so I can get that posted up to the website.
You should have the REMAC video sent right before this meeting.
Okay, to my personal.
Yeah, I went to your Gmail because I had to send it as a Google Drive because it was so big.
Roger that.
And I got the verbiage, and this one's just specifically for the Union Hill, correct?
That is correct. The Marion, obviously, all of their territory,
Right, right.
no question, falls within our district.
Yeah, but I know Union Hill had to go between for both Remscos. So
Correct. Yeah, and Remsco,